You're right. I am very close to clinic. I think we're 200 and so days away from it. I'll be in the clinic in Dallas starting January of 2023. And I'll be there at least throughout the summer of 2023, depending on if I do an externship or not. But I'm very excited, and it will truly be such an honor to start serving and applying all of the knowledge that I've learned up to this point. Preparation wise, I'm doing as much as I can. 2022, at New Year's Day, I tried to write down my goals. And one of those goals, lots of the goals were devoted towards preparing for clinic. But the overarching goal was to be prepared for clinic. And I'm sure there's some clinic interns who are going to watch this and laugh and think, oh, you can, and probably you as well, like, oh, you can never be, exactly prepared for, clinic or practice even. But to be prepared as possible. And so some of the things that I'm doing are, obviously, I'm using and starting to reflect a lot on shadow experience. And I'm prioritizing my relationships with the doctors that I've made, whether that was online or going to visit them, or my mentors who I say grown up with, but grown up chiropractic wise with since, I started shadowing at the beginning. I've started to really reach out to them more and start asking different questions than I would have, 1 year ago. You don't know what you don't know at the time. And so the more you learn, the more questions you'll have. If you're not having questions, more and more questions with the more that you learn, I would start to reflect a little bit on that, because I'm a firm believer that we should always be learning. And so that's one way I'm really starting to ask more detailed questions regarding patient care. And, if this patient walks in, what do you do? And I'm asking that to multiple different doctors to get multiple, experiences, multiple inputs on. Also, our classes right now are devoted a lot towards patient care and patient-centered care and how to communicate with patients. So I'm not starting. I've always been paying attention in class, but I'm really trying to prioritize, focusing in on what they're saying and really listening and thinking about not just listening for a test, but thinking about, okay, how is this going to impact when a patient is sitting in front of me? And there is a difference, guys, in class whenever you're listening and you're learning for a test versus learning for practice. So whenever you can kind of shift your mindset, try to shift your mindset from day one, try to walk into class and before each lecture, try to center yourself around that. Okay, what I'm about to learn, as dense as it may be, as boring as it may be sometimes, how is this going to help me? And even if it doesn't seem like it will, I promise it all comes together, because even if it does seem dense, even if it does seem boring, it's probably going to be on boards. And what do you have to pass to become a chiropractor? Boards. So it all matters in the end. And then the third way is physical preparation. I'm going to be a chiropractor. I'm going to be adjusting people. And I'm going to be helping connect brain to body very, very soon. I'm already doing that in class, which is, a lot of fun. But I'm sure you can attest, Dr. Glass, it's very, very different than, life outside of adjusting in school is very, very different. So, my family has been so gracious and letting me palpate them since day one. I've been so thankful for them helping me along the way. And, what I'm learning in class palpation-wise, taking that and really trying to understand differences body to body. Going to open labs has been amazing. Our full spine adjusting course, we rotate from doctor to doctor. So we get different feedback. We don't always hear the same feedback every week. We don't always have the same eyes on us every week. We're forced to change partners in our full spine adjusting labs. And we've been in a full spine adjusting lab since last trimester, so try 5. But prior to that, we've been in adjusting courses. Full spine adjusting at Parker, those labs, they're more of the putting it together, not technique specific. They're kind of like, okay, you've been, exposed to all of these different techniques. Now let's start putting it together and creating your own art, and we'll give you feedback on that. And so that's been so helpful. Students, I would really encourage you guys, if you're a chiropractic student now or a pre-chiropractic student, when you get into those adjusting labs, it can be intimidating because everybody adjusts so differently. Some people are at different levels on specific parts of the body. I would really encourage you to go in with a super open mind and try to take the stance and set the expectation that you're not coming from a judgmental place, and just expect better of others, that they're not coming from a judgmental place either. And hopefully, you know, if you don't, at Parker, we have really amazing instructors who are, they they take away the scariness, at least for me. They have, they've really, you know, allowed me to just ask the questions and do the things that may feel weird or that I'm unsure of, and then coach me from there. And it's been really, really rewarding. So hopefully, I'm sure at other schools it's the same way. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just being active, attending outside seminars. I've really tried to narrow down kind of the way that I want to practice, and starting, you know, to refine my art, if you will. And I know that that's a lifelong process, but I've started to take more of a focus to it, because I think your intent is everything, and your perspective on things. So I've really tried to narrow down how I think I want to practice, and the population that I think I want to serve. So I've tried devoting more time and energy towards learning about that population, which for me is probably going to be families, pediatric pregnancy and beyond. I always tell people I think the more correct way to say this is multi-generational, but the way that I like to say it is I want to see great grandbabies and their great grandparents and everybody in between, is kind of how I like to say it. So those are
Mm-hmm.
some of the ways that I've really tried to focus on preparing.